We're looking today at Psalm 140, a Psalm of David, one of the difficult Psalms where David feels he's under attack and pressure from evildoers or those who want to harm him. And very clearly in the content of this Psalm, he is under such attack. There could be a number of historical occasions for it. All those times when he was fleeing from Saul before he became king, when Saul was losing it in lots of ways, and David had been anointed as the next king and Saul wanted rid of him, and David was hiding as a bandit for some time with Saul's army chasing him. It could have been later on when David was king and his son Absalom effectively started a civil war against him. David had moved the capital to Jerusalem when he conquered that, and Absalom set up an alternative throne under him in Hebron, and Absalom's army chased David and drove him out of Jerusalem, and he was on the run with his men, not wanting to fight back. But in effect, it was a civil war. There are a number of occasions when David is under threat, both militarily and spiritually. And that's what's going on here. And in the first part of the psalm, David is almost obsessed by it. He can't get out of his head the fact that these evil people, as he describes them, after him and after his life with their violence. In the second part, from verse 6, he begins to remember his relationship with God and who God is, and begins to find confidence that God will protect and save him. And then in the last two verses, 12 and 13, it turns around a bit, because David has real confidence in God once again, and his obsession with his enemies is put aside really by his confidence in God, and it feels rather more happy and wholesome. Though the first few verses where he is really almost obsessed by his enemies are fully understandable given the historical situations he was in. Psalm 140, I'll read in small chunks, 1 to 3. Deliver me, O Lord, from evildoers. Protect me from those who are violent, who plan evil things in their minds and stir up wars continually. They make their tongue sharp as a snake's, and under their lips is the venom of vipers. Violence and evil thoughts and bad words, David doesn't like. Sometimes that was on his own side as well. One of his commanders was particularly ruthless and took things further in retribution and in war and in killing than David perhaps would have done. But he senses the need of God's deliverance from those who are violent and plan evil things. David was a man of war, but he doesn't really like violence and a tongue sharp as a snake. Verse 4 and 5. Guard me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Protect me from the violent who planned my downfall. The arrogant have hidden a trap for me. With cords they have spread a net along the road. They have set snares for me. He simply feels trapped and there's no escape. There's no way of safety. And he wants God to guard him from these people. It's quite depressing, really, apart from the fact that he is calling on God to deliver him and protect him and guard him. But the arrogant and the violent and the evil doers and the evil speakers are just filling his mind. But verse 6, it begins to turn. I say to the Lord, you are my God. Give ear, O Lord, to the voice of my supplications. O Lord, my Lord, my strong deliverer. You've covered my head in the day of battle. Do not grant, O Lord, the desires of the wicked. Do not further their evil plot. He's remembering his relationship with God. He's not just saying, God, please deliver me. God, protect me. God, guard me. He's stopping and saying, God, you're my God. God, I'm in relationship with you. Lord, my strong deliverer. Instead of focusing his prayer on the problems, he's now beginning to focus his prayer on the solution, on God, and on God as his personal God. And that's where prayer gets real, isn't it? When, oh Lord, my Lord, I say to the Lord, you are my God. He's getting real with God. Verse 9, those who surround me lift up their heads, let the mischief of their lips overwhelm them, let burning coals fall on them, let them be flung into pits, no more to rise. Do not let the slanderer be established in the land, let evil speedily hunt down the violent. Well, he's back to thinking about the violent and the evil and the wrongdoers, but not quite the same way as before, not in the way of despair from the earlier verses. This is more, God, you can judge these people. You are the judge. There is judgment against evil. Judgment is a reality, and evil needs to be dealt with, and God can do that. Again, it's not entirely comfortable. We might like to see forgiveness, but equally, when there is evil and when there is injustice, it must be dealt with. And that's what David is praying for here. We sometimes find that hard until we've been the victims of something terrible. And then we realize that somehow the evil, the wrong, must be dealt with. But then verses 12 and 13, he's deepening his own walk with God, and he's getting it in better perspective. I know that the Lord maintains the cause of the needy and executes justice for the poor. We don't need to sort out all the world's problems. Our law courts, good as they may be, can't solve everything, but God maintains the cause. God executes justice. Ultimately, God is in charge, even in these matters. And then verse 13, surely the righteous shall give thanks to your name. The upright shall live in your presence. That's where we need to be, isn't it? That in whatever situation we're in, we can give thanks to God and we can live in his presence. Amen.